Hey kids, this is Carly,
Chatio
and this is episode 4
of LOWPASS TV.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, first up on today's episode, we have ill.Gates, multi-talented performer, producer, and educator of electronic music from Toronto.
In 2010, ill.Gates played a record-breaking 15 sets at the Burning Man Festival in the Nevada desert.
This past winter, LOWPASS TV got down with ill.Gates when he came to Whistler and performed with Matt the Alien.
Hey, what's up? I'm ill.Gates from Toronto, Canada. I travel the world producing, performing, and teaching people how to unlock their creativity and productivity in the studio. I present a knowledge package that I call the ill methodology that is a complete system of everything that you need to know to go from being a dabbler to being a professional musician. All right, so bass music as a genre is really exciting right now. I consider bass music to include pretty much all genres of music that involve breakbeats and loud sub bass. You know, it can include many forms of dub music, dubstep, breakbeats, hip hop, glitchy IDM hip hop, drum and bass. Drum step, you name it, it all really falls under the umbrella of bass music. And I think that, putting 4 kick drums in a bar all evenly spaced is about the most boring thing you can do musically, and I'm really excited to see people getting beyond that. And bass music is really the format for it. I mean, if you're listening to music at volume, those sub-bass tones moving through your organs and eyeballs and teeth are just so physically satisfying, whereas you listen to the traditional kind of like house, trance, electro paradigm, there's bass, but the notes are all short, so they never really get a chance to establish a resonance in the body. And bass music is really about the body. It's really about your experience as a listener, what those sound waves feel like inside of your organs and what they make you want to do with yourself. And it's just such a anything goes kind of format, and there's so much room for exploration within it. And it's just such a force, and it's only gaining momentum. So I started teaching these workshops because there are many, many things about writing music that when I found out, I wished I had a time machine and I could save myself years of headache and stress. So, I was kind of hesitant to do it because, I went to art school and graphic design school, and there are all these teachers who you could tell that they had, aspirations of being an artist, but maybe got someone pregnant or didn't have the faith in themselves to carry it through, and then they ended up teaching art classes and just being like really, really bitter about it and spending all day telling everyone else how they're doing it wrong. So I was really kind of hesitant to do it, but it's really facilitated my music and facilitated my travel, and I really like it because when I can get into someone's head and remove all the obstacles and get them finishing music, get them the results that they want, it's really allowed me the freedom to explore many, many different styles and to try many different, radically different approaches to writing music and to different genres and music that's even completely unclassifiable. I don't just like to dump a pile of information on people because it's really meaningless to just give people a bunch of facts and information. I like to provide a bit more of a structure to it. And what people really remember is stories and images. So I like to explain things a lot in terms of metaphor and in terms of more philosophical and psychological approach to writing music, because I find it just sticks with people. And most people, they come to these things thinking that they're gonna learn, the intricacies of making bass patches in Massive, or how a compressor works or whatever. But all that stuff is meaningless until you have the right kind of mental approach and the right kind of workflow and the right kind of work ethic. Otherwise, you're just collecting information.
Recently, W2 put on another incredible indoor festival featuring many fabulous female artists.
Big shout out to our homegirl, the librarian, and all the W2 volunteers who put on a wicked event.
We were stoked to have had the opportunity to meet up with the lovely Lynx.
Saints and unbelievers, a miracle in one hand and the other holds a ball and chain. Oh, we thirst for liberation, we thirst for the rise of fame.
Big music lovers, definitely, and listen to a lot of like blues and folk and jazz growing up. And my mom played classical guitar, so I started taking lessons from her teacher when I was about 7, and that was my first. It was how I learned how to read music, and it was the first instrument I picked up, and before singing or anything. I've always been really fascinated with poetry and just like the simple yet profound magic of songwriting. It wasn't my intention to get into electronic music. I actually, for quite some time, didn't think that it was real music. And I was living in a small mountain town at the time that I kind of discovered it, and was seeing someone who, started taking me to different kinds of parties, and these hip-hop DJs would take me out to beatbox with them, like in the local bars, and I started to discover what electronic music was all about and how it was made, and the thing that really drove me to it was that I wanted to do things myself, and I got a looper pedal initially and was just beatboxing and playing guitar and singing. I found the looper pedal really limiting, and I kept hearing about this thing called Ableton, and people were like, oh, you need to get Ableton, you can do whatever you want with that. And so I bought the program and became really fascinated with the possibilities of expanding the soundscape as a solo artist.
You're an island of a girl, adrift in a world with the rising tide. You know that the coming storm is gonna be a crazy ride. With your altars made of trash.
I would say that there's definitely a constant undercurrent of seeking change and just trying to let people know that they're not alone, and that the world's a crazy place, and that they need to keep going, because that's essentially what I'm telling myself. So things are, I think my songwriting tends to be kind of melancholy in that way, but hopeful, and I think that probably the best thing that we can do at this point as like songwriters in the folk tradition of telling the story of our time is just that, is tell the story, tell our story. And I think general pop world, you know, tries to drown out those voices, the voices of change, because it's a powerful thing.
You're in the ocean of a girl, surrounding a world with a blackening tide. You know that the coming storm is gonna be a crazy ride.
I grew up in a really conservative town where there's like 7 military bases and a whole bunch of mega churches. So for me, it kind of started when I moved to a small liberal mountain town and was going to school, and it started with the kind of jam band scene and going to fish and string cheese shows and being like, wow, people still gather like this and are like, you know, and have a sense of community, and then discovered the greater Burning Man scene and moved west, and I think, you know, a lot of us don't have a context to exist in that's nurturing, you know, growing up in little boxes in suburbia where, you know, it's dog eat dog from day one basically, and we're all, you know, separate. So it's a really, really special and essential thing to have people around you that are inspiring you and supporting you and are doing similar things that you can bounce off of and just create in a really, nurturing environment.
Storm is gonna be a crazy ride.
Well, that's that, kids.
Check out the next one.
Peace.
Made of bone